This conference will now be recorded.
Fine. The agenda for today's classes. I'll save this first. Agenda for today's classes. We'll have complete introduction to Power BI. In the 60-minute session, we'll have introduction to Power BI, guys. We'll have complete introduction to Power BI. In this 60-minute session, you'll get clear idea what Power BI will do, and you'll get the clear idea about this Power BI architecture. Look at this. This is the architecture of Power BI. I'm opening the architecture slide. This is the architecture of Power BI. By end of my 60-minute session, you'll get the clear idea about this Power BI architecture also. First, I'll start with few basics. Slowly, we'll understand all about Power BI by end of the 60-minute session, guys. Just concentrate. You'll get all about Power BI in this 60-minute session. So before I start explaining what is Power BI, if I ask a simple question, what do you guys know about Power BI? If I ask a simple question, what do you guys know about Power BI? So some people will tell that Power BI is a reporting software. Some people knows Power BI as reporting software. When I ask someone what is Power BI, some people will tell that what Power BI is a reporting software. Yes, correct. Why they are calling it as reporting software, I'll discuss. Some people will tell that Power BI is a data visualization software. Visualization software. Some people will tell that Power BI is a data analytics software. Data analytics software. Some people will tell that Power BI is a business intelligence software. Business intelligence, BI, intelligence, BI software, guys. So everyone is correct here. First, let me write couple of words and then I'll explain about each and every word, guys. Whatever I am writing here, I'll explain about each and every word. First, let me write couple of words here. Leave it about the technical terms. In simple terms, who developed Power BI software? For now, keep this technical terms aside. In simple terms, who developed Power BI software means Microsoft developed Power BI software. Microsoft is the one who developed Power BI software. The question is, who will use Power BI software? Okay, Microsoft developed it. Who will use Power BI software is our question. When Microsoft developed this Power BI, who will use this Power BI software is the first question. I'll answer that. And second question is, you are here to learn Power BI, guys. Within 2 months, you will learn Power BI and you will become a Power BI developer. Understand? Within 2 months, you will learn Power BI, you will become a Power BI developer. Power BI developer, guys. Once you learn Power BI, you'll become Power BI developer. Right? Once you become a Power BI developer, who will give the job for you? Within 2 months, you will be learning the Power BI course. Then you will become a Power BI developer. The question is, who will give the job? Who will hire Power BI developer? For both the questions, answer is same, guys. Understand the answer. Who will use Power BI software? Who will hire Power BI developers? When there is any company, whether it is a small company or whether it is a big company, when there is any company, when there is a company, what they will do, guys? They'll do some business. In that company, when we establish any company, we'll do some business with that company. We might do a retail business, we might do a banking business, we might do a healthcare business, we might do e-commerce business or some other business also. When a company is there, with that company we'll do business, guys. When we are doing the business, let's say I'm doing retail business. When I'm doing the retail business, I'll get some business data. From the business, you'll get some business data. When you are doing retail business, you'll get customers data, you'll get products data, you'll get sales data. All this comes under business data. When a company is doing the business, they'll get some business data, guys. When a company is getting the business data, when the company is getting the business data, that business data, some companies will store in Excel files for their future reference. They will store the business data in the Excel files. They will store the business data in the SQL Server database. They will store the business data in the Oracle database or some other place also, etc. When a company is there, when they're getting the business data, they might be stored in some databases or files for their future reference purpose. When a company is having the business data, what they will do is, so what they want to do with that business data is they want to analyze the business data, guys. Understand here. When we have the business data, what we need to do with business data? We need to analyze the business data, guys. To analyze when a company is having the business data, they need to analyze the business data. To analyze the business data, they need some software, guys. Understand? When a company is having some last 20 years data, so there is a company, ABC company, they are doing retail business. From last 20 years, they have some business data. They are storing in the SQL Server database. They want to analyze that business data. How the companies will analyze the business data is by creating reports and visuals. By creating reports or visuals. By creating reports or visuals, companies will analyze the business data. Companies will analyze the business data. Keep in mind, by creating the reports or visuals, companies will analyze the business data, guys. Yes. So how we'll create the reports and visuals? I'll show some sample reports and visuals to you now. Look at this. I'll show some sample reports and visuals how we will create to analyze the business data, guys. So in Power BI, how we will create some sample reports and visuals to analyze the business data, I'll show you now here. Just observe here. I'll show some sample reports and visuals to you how the companies will create to analyze the business data. Look at this here. I'll open two reports, report 1 and report 2, and I'll show you how the companies will create some reports to analyze the business data, guys. They'll create some reports like this. So they will create some reports like this to analyze the business data. To analyze the business data. Let me show this one also. They will create some reports like this to analyze the business data. Any company who need to analyze the business data, they want to create some reports like this. Look at this here. Count of orders, count of customers, what is the total sales amount we received, what is the total profit amount we received. So like this, when a company is having the business data, they want to analyze it by creating some reports and visuals. To generate some reports like this, we need some software, guys. To generate some report like this, what we need, guys? We need some software. Understand here. Any company who need to generate some reports like this, they need some software. Look at this. There is a report here. So any company, if they want to generate some report like this, they need some software. So that software is Power BI, guys. Simple here. Any company who need to analyze their business data, they will use Power BI software, guys. What this company will do is, let's say ABC company is there. That ABC company will go to Microsoft. They will buy the Power BI software from Microsoft, and this Power BI software will be helpful to create the reports and visuals, guys. This Power BI software will helpful to generate some reports like this. Yes. So tell me, guys, can Power BI generate the reports automatically? Means can Power BI generate the reports and visuals automatically? Means no. Along with the Power BI, that company need to hire Power BI developer also, guys. Understand here? When there is any company, when they're doing the business, when they have the business data, to analyze the business data, they want Power BI software. Along with the Power BI software, they want to hire Power BI developer also, guys. So they want to take either you or me, or the one who knows Power BI, they want to hire it, guys. Now, Power BI developer will use Power BI software. Power BI developer using the Power BI software, he will generate some reports and visuals. That reports and visuals will help companies to analyze their business data, guys. Analyze their business data. Simple, guys. So now tell me, who will use Power BI software? Means any company who need to analyze their business data, they will use Power BI software. In the same way, who will hire Power BI developer? Means any company who need to analyze the business data using Power BI, they need a Power BI developer. Any company who need to analyze the business data using the Power BI software, they need a Power BI developer. They need one skilled person who know how to use Power BI software, how to generate some reports and visuals. That person is Power BI developer. On the whole, as I said, Power BI developer will use Power BI software. Using the Power BI software, he will generate reports and visuals. That reports and visuals will help companies to analyze their business data, guys. Analyze their business data. Right. So now, to analyze the business data, we not only have Power BI in the market. Understand here one point. I want to buy one mobile. How many brands of mobiles are there in the market? Dozens of brands of mobiles are there in the market. Same way, when a company need to analyze the business data in the software field, they not only have Power BI in the market, guys. To analyze the business data, they have dozens of softwares in the market. One is Power BI. Along with Power BI, there are dozens of softwares like this: Tableau, ClickView, MSBI, OBAWE, Cognos, BO. Like this, dozens of softwares are there. All these softwares are used to analyze the business data, guys. Among all these softwares, the companies will choose any one of the software to analyze the business data. So these days, the most widely used software to analyze the business data is no doubt Power BI, guys. Look at this. There is a company with the name Gartner who will give the rankings to the BA tools. I'm opening one slide. So there is a company with the name Gartner. Every year in the month of February, they will release the rankings. In the year of February, they will release the rankings, guys. When they release the rankings, Microsoft Power BI is in the first place, Tableau is in the second place, and ClickView is in the third place, guys. When you even compare with Tableau, Microsoft Power BI is far ahead, guys, far ahead. So Tableau is somewhere here. Microsoft Power BI is on the top. So the most widely, all the softwares are used to analyze the business data only. MicroStrategy, Domo, TIBCO, all this. They listed only few softwares here. Not only this, we even have more softwares in the market. They listed only few here. Among all this, Microsoft Power BI is most widely used software to analyze the business data. They're given the rankings for business intelligence platforms. When they give the rankings for business intelligence platforms, Microsoft is on top, guys. Right. Just why I want to show you why lot of jobs are there on Power BI means. So lot of companies, to analyze their business data, they're using Power BI software. That is the reason we have a lot of opportunities on Power BI these days. Okay. Whatever the softwares we listed here, they're categorized into two different categories, guys. All the above softwares are categorized into traditional softwares and self-service softwares, guys. Softwares, self-serviced softwares. The meaning is whatever the softwares I listed here, they are categorized under two different categories. Few softwares here will comes under self-serviced. Few softwares here will comes under traditional, guys. So we need to know Power BI comes under where. Power BI comes under a traditional software or self-service software means Power BI is a self-service software. Power BI is a self-service software. And you have MSBI. MSBI is a traditional software. I will explain why we are calling Power BI as a self-service software and why we are calling MSBI as a traditional software. On what basis we are categorizing them, we will discuss. For now, let me write here, Power BI comes under self-service. Why? I'll discuss. Power BI comes under a self-service software. And again, all the above softwares again categorized into two more categories, guys. All the above software again categorized into on-premise softwares and cloud-based softwares. On-premise softwares and cloud-based softwares, guys. Softwares. So whatever the softwares here, few softwares will comes under on-premise, few softwares will comes under cloud-based, guys. Power BI comes under where means Power BI comes under cloud-based, and MSBI comes under where means on premise. Why? You will understand. For now, let me write here, Power BI comes under a cloud-based software. So our intention is we need to understand Power BI. So Power BI comes under self-service. Power BI comes under cloud-based. Let me give the complete definition of Power BI now. So complete definition of Power BI is a self-serviced, cloud-based reporting software or data visualization software or data analytics software or business intelligence software. This is the definition of Power BI, guys. So Power BI is a self-serviced, cloud-based reporting software or data visualization software or data analytics software or business intelligence software. This is the definition of Power BI. And the six we call it as characteristics of Power BI, guys. You have six, right? Self-service, cloud-based reporting, data visualization, data analytics, business intelligence. This six we call it as characteristics of Power BI. If you can understand about the six characteristics, you can easily understand what is Power BI, what we can do with Power BI. You can easily understand what is Power BI, what we can do with Power BI. Let's start understanding one by one. First, I'll explain why people are calling Power BI as a self-service software. First, we will start with what? Self-serviced. Why people are calling Power BI as a self-service software? I'll discuss one by one, guys. So when can we call one software as a self-service software is in any software, if you are able to complete the work, if you are able to complete the work with a drag and drop, come a point and click, we call them as self-service softwares, guys. We call them as self-service softwares. Understand here? In any software, if you are able to complete the work without writing the code, guys, without writing the code, with the drag and drop features, with point and click features, if you are able to complete the work, that kind of software you call it as self-service softwares. Self-serviced softwares here. So in the older days, when the companies want to analyze the business data, in the older days before 15 years back, so let's take an example. I have some data before 15 years back. To analyze the data, we use traditional softwares. All the old softwares are traditional softwares, guys. Traditional softwares. When you use traditional softwares in the older days, what is the problem is with the traditional softwares, we need to write the coding. To analyze the business data in the older days with the traditional softwares, we need to write the coding, and it takes a lot of time to complete the project, case. It will take 12 months of time to complete a big data analytics project. This is the older day story, guys. But these days, to analyze the business data, companies are not using traditional softwares these days. So latest softwares are self-service softwares, guys. All the old softwares are traditional softwares. If you look at here in the list, this MSBI, OBIW, Cognos, BO, all this comes under traditional softwares, guys. All the old softwares. And this Power BI, Tableau, ClickView will comes under latest softwares. They comes under self-service softwares, guys. These days, to analyze the business data, companies not using traditional softwares. Companies are using self-service softwares. What is the reason is no coding. What is the reason they are using no coding, guys? Self-service softwares. Then when there is no coding, how can you complete the work? No coding means we can complete the work with a drag and drop, point and click. As there is no coding, as we can complete the work with the drag and drop, point and click, we can complete the project within 3 to 6 months of time. The same project, the same data analysis which you performed with the traditional softwares for 12 months of time, the same analysis with self-service softwares can be performed in 3 to 6 months of time, guys. Why? Because you don't need to keep lot of efforts. You don't need to write the code. You can complete with the drag and drop, point and click features, guys. Drag and drop, point and click features. All right, guys. So I explain in Power BI, we can complete the work with just drag and drop, point and click, guys. As we are able to complete the work with the drag and drop, point and click, we can call that as a self-service software. To generate these reports in Power BI, I'm showing some reports here. To generate such a reports in Power BI, you don't need to write any code. Look at this. to generate some reports like this in Power BI, you no need to write the code. To generate, I have some data. I have some data. On the data, to generate some reports like this, I no need to write the code. With a drag and drop, with point and click, we can generate these reports, guys. With a drag and drop, point and click, when you are able to generate this kind of reports, you can call that software as a self-service software, guys. Let me show you practically this time. I joined in one ABC company, guys. ABC company is a retail company. That retail company is having some business data. That business data they are storing in SQL Server. They're asking to bring that business data from the SQL Server to Power BI. They're asking to analyze the data by creating some reports and visuals. Understand the requirement is I joined for a ABC company as a Power BI developer. That company is doing some retail business. From that retail business, they got some business data. That business data is stored in the SQL Server. They asked us to bring that SQL Server data into Power BI. They asked us to generate some reports and visuals on that data to analyze that business data, guys. To do all this in Power BI, I no need to write the code. Let me show you. This is my Power BI software, guys. I install the Power BI software. When I double click on it, the software will open. Let it open. Once after opening the software, from the Power BI software, I'll connect to SQL Server. Why? Because my company is storing the data in the SQL Server. I'll bring the data from SQL Server to Power BI and I'll generate some reports and visuals to analyze my company's data. To bring the data from SQL Server to generate the reports on the data in Power BI, you don't need to write code. Do you need to write the code? Means you don't need to write the code. You can do it with the drag and drop, point and click. Let me show you now. So I open Power BI software here. Just close this. I want to bring the data into Power BI. To bring the data into Power BI, we open Power BI software, guys. If you look at here, and I want to bring the data into Power BI. To bring the data into Power BI, there is an option called Get Data. There is an option called what here? Get Data. When I click on Get Data, it can show different data sources we have. I want to bring the data from SQL Server this time. So you look at this. It is showing a lot of data sources here. And when I click on more, you can find hundreds of data sources from where we can bring the data. Hundreds of data sources. I can bring the data. This time, hundreds of data sources I can connect. I can bring the data, guys. This time I need to bring the data from SQL Server database. I'm selecting SQL Server, click on connect. When I click on connect, it will ask me to enter the server name and database name. Who will provide the server name and database name is companies will provide. Who will provide the server name and database name? Tomorrow when I join in the company as a Power BI developer, that company will provide the server names and database names, guys. Now, I have some server name which was provided by my company. I'll use that server name. And along with the server name, we need to provide the database name also here. But database name is optional. You can ignore it. Just press OK, guys. When I press OK, it will open the server and it will show the list of database you have in the server. Generally in the SQL Server software, you will have multiple databases. I have totally 8 databases. It is showing all the 8 databases here. When you expand the database, you can see the tables. When you select any table, you can see the data. Table will contain what? Data. We need to analyze the data, guys. We need to analyze the data. So now my client is asking to analyze some retail data. There is a product database. In the product database, there is some retail customers data, products data, and sales data. They're asking to generate some reports on these 3 tables, guys. I'm selecting customers table, products table, and sales table. So on which tables I need to generate the reports, I can select the tables and I can click on load, guys. Here, look at this. You have an option called load. When I click on load, tables will be loaded into Power BI, guys. See, to connect to SQL Server, to bring the tables into Power BI, have I written any code now? No, not at all. So to bring the tables, you don't need to write the code. Not only bringing the tables, guys, using the tables to generate some reports like this, you don't need to even write the code. Yes, look at this here. I can generate the reports without writing the code here. Look at this. I have the 3 tables here. About the 3 tables, you can see the 3 tables here: customers table, sales table, and products data table you have here. And when I go to model view, I can see the 3 tables which we bought into Power BI. From where we bought these 3 tables? From SQL Server. From SQL Server, you bought customers table, sales table, and products table. And when you go to data view, you can see the data in the tables. When you select customers table, what data we have in the customers table, we can see. I'm in data view. I can select customer data table. I can see what data we have. I can select product data table, what data we have in the products data table. I can select sales data table. I can see what data we have in the sales data table. Now I want to perform some analysis on these tables. We know that we can perform the analysis by creating some reports like this. We can perform the analysis by creating some reports like this, guys. How can we generate some reports here is, so we need to start creating some visuals here, guys. So my client is asking to show what is the total quantity we sold. There is a column called order quantity column. Client is asking to show what is the total quantity sold. To show the total quantity here, we no need to write the code, guys. Observe here carefully. To show what is the total quantity sold, I will not write any code. So first I'll make some changes here. Go to view and browse for the themes. Here I want to show what is the total quantity, guys. To show the total quantity, you just want to choose one right visual here. So I know that to show the quantity, card visual is the best visual. I'm taking one card visual here. In the card visual, I need to show what is the total quantity sold, guys. I'm added the card visual. Into the card visual, you need to go to sales data table. You need to drag order quantity column. When I drag order quantity column, it is telling that the total quantity we sold is 6434 quantity. So we are not writing any code here to show the quantity. Once after showing the total quantity, client is asking to show what is the total sales amount we received. Client is asking to show what is the total sales amount we received. To show the total sales amount, I don't need to write any code, guys. I just need to show. So there is a sales table. We have multiple sales transactions here. For each sales transaction, we have sales amount. Client is asking to show for all the transactions, what is the total sales amount we received. To show the total sales, you just want to go and choose one right visual here, and then you need to drag the sales amount column. When you drag the sales amount column, it is telling the total sales we are getting is 3.11 million. I'm not writing any code here. By default, when you drag any number column in Power BI, Power BI will do by default sum, guys. It will sum all the values in the column by default. It will sum all these values, all the values in the column, and it is telling that the sum of sales amount is 3.11 million. Once I shown the total sales here, this time my client is asking to show I have a customers table. In the customers table, I have a gender column. In the gender column, I have male genders and female genders. I want to show gender wise sales. To show gender wise sales, here you don't need to write any code. Just choose one right visual here. This time I'm going with pie chart. In the pie chart, I'll try to show gender wise sales. To show gender wise sales, go to the customer data table, drag the gender column. Go to the sales data table, drag the sales amount column. You can see gender wise sales, guys. Look at this here. You are able to see easily gender wise sales here. Male gender, female gender is light blue color. It is doing 1.62 million. Male gender is dark blue color. It is doing 1.49 million. So 1.62 plus 1.49, it is 3.11 million, guys. Total is 3.11 million. I am able to show each gender wise sales here. So like this, next visual my client is asking to create is create a visual to show product name wise sales. I have a product data table here. I have a product data table here. Using the product data table, we are selling a lot of products. All the products together, we are getting 3.11 million sales. I want to understand each product, how much sales amount you're getting. To show each product, how much sales amount you're getting, I just want to take one visual, guys, here. So one best visual. This time I'm going with a bar chart here. In this bar chart, I want to show product wise sales. I'll go to the products data table, drag the product name column. I'll go to the sales data table. I'll drag the sales amount column, guys. Look at this here. Let's enable the data label here. I'm able to show each product what is the sales amount you are getting. You are able to show product name and their sales amount here. So like this, to perform any analysis in Power BI, we can complete with just drag and drop, point and click, guys. You can do the formatting here to have the better look like this. We can do some formatting. So I can do a formatting with just point and click. If you want a dark page background, you can add the dark page background like this. So with just drag and drop, point and click, we can generate the reports, guys. I roughly created one report here just to show that. So in Power BI, in any software, if you are able to complete the work with just drag and drop, point and click, we can call them as self-service softwares. In Power BI, to analyze the data, I bought some tables and I performed some analysis on these tables by creating some reports, guys. To generate some reports like this, have I written any code here? No, I'm not writing any code. So to bring the tables, I just use get data and SQL server. I'm not writing any code. And once after getting the tables here, to perform this analysis, I'm not writing any code here. So that is the reason we can call Power BI software as a self-service software, guys. Self-service software. We can create wonderful reports like this with just drag and drop, point and click, guys, without writing any code, right? So we understand what is self-service. So if you have any questions, please make a note of the questions, guys. At the end of the class, I'll answer all your questions. The next one is cloud-based. What is cloud-based? Why people are calling Power BI software as a cloud-based software? Look at this here. This is on-premise and this is cloud-based. At the end of the demo, I'll discuss what is cloud-based, what is on-premise. For now, keep it on hold. About cloud-based, I'll discuss at the end of the demo. Next one is some people will call Power BI as a reporting software. We know that some people will call Power BI as a reporting software. Why? Let's understand why some people will call Power BI as a reporting software. We understand why people are calling Power BI as a self-service software. So why people are calling Power BI as a self-service software is, as we are able to complete the work with the drag and drop, point and click, people are calling it as self-service software. In the same way, we need to understand why people are calling Power BI as a reporting software. Let me write here. So first I'll write the definition and then I'll explain why people are calling Power BI as a reporting software, guys. First, I'll write the definition of reporting, guys. Reporting means presenting the data in a structured format. Structured format we call as reporting. Presenting the data in a structured format, we call it as what? Reporting, guys. Yes. So reporting, what is the structured format? I'll discuss in 1 minute. Reporting and data visualization are related to each other. Some people will call Power BI as a data visualization software. Let's understand why the people are calling Power BI as a data visualization software. Let's understand why the people are calling Power BI as a data visualization software. So parallelly, I'll explain both, guys. Let me write the definition first. Data visualization, presenting the data in a graphical format. Data visualization definition is presenting the data in a graphical format. Graphical format we call as data visualization, guys. When you present the data in the graphical format, we call it as data visualization. Simple. When you present the data in the structured format, we call it as reporting. When you present the data in the graphical format, we call it as data visualization. We want to understand what is this structured format, what is this graphical format. I'll explain. Before we discuss that, in the older days, to analyze the business data, people will present in structured format, guys. In the older days, when the companies need to analyze the business data, they will present in which format? Structured format. These days, to analyze the business data, people are not using structured format. People are presenting in graphical format these days. Understand carefully. These days, to analyze the business data, people are not presenting in the structured format, graphical format. Here you need to understand two things. What is structured format? What is graphical format? And then you need to understand why these days they're presenting in graphical format. Why not in the structured format? Why older days structured format, but these days why graphical format? Why not the structured format? Let's understand both of this. First, I'll explain about structured format case. Let's take an example. I join for one e-commerce company. So let's say I join for Flipkart, a e-commerce company. So when I join Flipkart, so they have some business data. So in the Flipkart, you will place orders, right? Let's say they have all the orders data stored in an Excel. They have some orders data. They stored some business data, orders data in an Excel case. That company is asking me to bring the data into Power BI and generate some reports, guys. Generate some reports. Let's see how to do that. So now I need to bring the data into Power BI from an Excel file, guys. This company, e-commerce company, is storing their business data, orders data in the Excel. They're asking to bring that Excel data into Power BI, asking to generate some reports. How can we do that is, click on get data. I want to bring the data this time from Excel. Click on Excel. Where the Excel file is located, browse it. D drive, source files folder. There is an Excel file with the name sample superstore. In that Excel file, we have the orders data. I have an orders table in that Excel, guys. I'm selecting the orders table here and click on load. When I click on load, the orders table will come to Power BI, guys. Look at this now. You can see the orders table here, and you can go to data view, and you can even see the data in the orders table. When I go to the orders table, you can see what columns you have. When you place an order in the e-commerce site, they will store this kind of data. Who is the customer placing the order? On what date the customer is placing the order date, on what date the order was shipped, from which city the customer is placing the order. I have some columns like this, guys. What is the product he purchased? Look at this here. What is the product he purchased? How many quantity he purchased? What is the sales amount he paid? What is the profit company received when they sell the order? Like this, we have some orders related details in the orders table. They're asking to generate some reports on top of it, guys. The first analysis they're asking to perform is, when I sell all the orders, what is the sum of sales amount we received? What is the total sales amount we received? To show the total sales amount, I want to just take one visual. This time, I want to show what is the total sales amount, guys. To show the total sales amount, I'll go to the orders table now. In the orders table, there is a column called sales column. I'll drag it. When I drag the sales column, by default, it will do sum, and it is giving the sum of sales amount, guys. When I sell all the orders, the sales amount I received is 2.3 million sales, guys. How much sales amount we received? 2.3 million is the sales amount we received, guys. When the total sales is 2.3 millions, now my client is asking, I want to see subcategory wise sales. I have subcategory column. I have sales column. I want to show each subcategory wise sales. So we are selling multiple subcategories here. All the subcategories together, they are giving a sales amount of 2.3 million. All the subcategories together, it is giving a sales amount of 2.3 million. Yes, 2.3 million, guys. So I want to know each subcategory, how much sales amount you are getting. To show subcategory wise sales, I want to choose one right visual here. In the older days, I said that to analyze the business data will present in which format? Structured format. Let me show you in the older days how we will present the data in a structured format like this. I want to show subcategory wise sales. Drag the subcategory column, drag the sales column, guys. I want to do some basic formatting here. I want to add one vertical grid line, and I want to convert these numbers to millions, guys. To read these numbers, it is taking time for me. I want to convert these numbers to millions. So to do this, you don't need to write any code. Just go to format, go to grid, add the vertical grid line. You'll get a vertical grid line like this. Along with the vertical grid line, I want to convert the sales values to millions. To convert the sales values to millions, you need to go to field formatting. You need to format the sales column. You need to select the display units to millions, guys. Now I am able to show each subcategory how much is the sales value, guys. Accessories, we are getting 0.17 million. Furnishings, we are getting 0.09 million. Tables, we are getting 0.21 million. All the subcategories together, 2.3 million. So when you present the data something like this, we call it a structured format. We call this as what format? Structured format. When you present the data something like this, we call this as a structured format, guys. In the older days, When the client want to understand each subcategory wise sales, we'll present in the structured format, we'll share with the client's case. But these days, we don't present in the structured format. These days, to analyze the business data, people will present in which format these days? A graphical format, guys. Let me show you what is that graphical format. The same subcategory wise sales I want to show. This time I'm taking one column chart. I'll go and present this data in the graphical format, guys. So I want to show same subcategory wise sales. To show subcategory wise sales, drag the subcategory, drag the sales. I'll do some basic formatting here and go and enable the data labels here. Sort the data based on subcategories in ascending order. So in both the places, the information I am showing is same, guys. Subcategory wise sales. Here also subcategory wise sales. Accessories, their sales value is 0.17 million. Accessories, their sales value is 0.17 million. So appliances, sales value is 0.11. Appliances sales value. Towards tables, their sales value. Towards tables, their sales value 0.21 million. So like this, we are showing subcategory wise sales, guys. So one we call it a structured format. When you show the data something like this, we call it a structured format. When you show the data something like an image, we call it as graphical format. This we call it as graphical format. I said that in the older days we will present like this, but these days we are not presenting like this. We are presenting in graphical format. Why? Because let me explain, guys. Why these days we are presenting in graphical format? Why not in the structured format? To answer this, so look at this and tell me which subcategory is doing more sales and which subcategory is doing less sales. Just look at this structured formatted report and tell me which subcategory is doing more sales and which subcategory is doing less sales. A second, guys, just a second. So by looking at this structured formatted report, I have one question where I need to understand which subcategory is doing more sales and which subcategory is doing less sales here. So it might take time, guys, to compare all the 17 values to understand which one is taking more sales and which one is doing less sales. It takes time to compare the values. But here, look at this graphical format report. So look at this graphical format visual and tell me which subcategory is doing more sales and which subcategory is doing less sales. Within fraction of seconds, I can tell that phones is doing the highest sales, and then chairs is doing the second highest sales, and fasteners is doing the least sales. Within fraction of seconds, I can tell it. Why? So in both the places, the data you are showing is same subcategory wise sales. But these days, why we are presenting in the graphical format is client can understand the data within less time. Why these days we are going to present the data in the graphical format is clients can understand the data within less time here. Clients can understand the data within less time. That is the reason we are presenting in the graphical format, guys. In Power BI, we can present the data both in the structured format as well as graphical format, guys. Power BI have the capability to present the data in the structured format as well as graphical format. Understand one more point. In any software, if you are able to present the data in the structured format, with the help of any software, if you are able to present the data in the structured format, we call it as reporting software, guys. If a software is able to present the data in the structured format, that software you can call it as reporting software. In Power BI, as I am able to present the data in the structured format, I can call Power BI as reporting software, guys. Same way, in any software, if you're able to present the data in the graphical format like this, we can call that software as a data visualization software, guys. Power BI will do both the work, guys. As Power BI is able to present the data in the structured format, we are calling Power BI as a reporting software. As Power BI is able to present the data in the graphical format, we are calling Power BI as a data visualization software, guys. Yes, Power BI will do both the things, guys. Some people even call Power BI as a data analytics software. We understand why we are calling it as self-serviced. reporting, and data visualization softwares. Next one is data analytics, guys. When you can call one software as a data analytics software is with the help of any software, with the help of any software, with the help of any software, if you are able to analyze the data, software, if we are able to analyze the data, analyze the data, we call as data analytics software, guys. Simple. With the help of any software, if you are able to analyze the data, we call it as data analytics software, guys. So into Power BI, I can bring the data, I can able to perform analysis on this data. I want to understand what is the total quantity sold, guys. Yes, you can show it easily. I have some data here. I have a table called orders table. I brought into Power BI. I want to perform some analysis on this data. I want to show what is the total quantity sold. Yes, we can show it easily. I can take one visual here, and this time in this visual I need to show what is the total quantity, guys. Just drag the quantity column. We are able to show what is the quantity we sold. Just a second. We are able to show what is the total quantity sold. In the same way, once after showing the what is the total quantity, I want to show what is the total profit amount we received. To show the total profit amount, we can perform the analysis with just taking one visual. I can take one visual. I can just drag the profit column, guys. I'm able to show what is the total profits we are getting. Into any software, if you're able to bring the data, if you're able to perform some analysis like this, we can call that software as data analytics software, guys. As into Power BI, as I'm able to bring some tables, as I'm able to perform some analysis on this, I can call this Power BI software as a data analytics software, guys. Into Power BI, I can bring the millions of records of data, and on that data I can perform some analysis, guys. Yes, so I have a sales table which contains 100 million records. Yes, I can load the tables, I can perform the analysis on huge volumes of data. So as I'm able to perform some analysis on the data, I'm calling it as data analytics software, guys. Whatever I discussed so far are completely basics. Whatever I'm going to discuss for next 20 minutes is important, guys. So next 20 minutes, we'll discuss about business intelligence. Some people will call Power BI software as a business intelligence software. So in the Power BI itself, you have BI. In the Power BI name itself, you have BI. This BI full form is business intelligence, guys. So why people are calling it as business intelligence software, we'll try to understand. Just concentrate. If you can understand business intelligence, understanding Power BI software is matter of 3-4 minutes, guys. First, I'll try to make you understand what is business intelligence. Business intelligence is a process which converts. First, I'll write the definition and then I'll explain, guys. Business intelligence is a process which converts. Business intelligence is one process which converts business data into actionable information, guys. Actionable information. This is the definition of BA. I'm telling that business intelligence is nothing but one process. In that process, we will convert the company's business data into actionable information. Actionable information. Let's understand what is that process. In that process, how the companies will convert their business data into actionable information, we'll try to understand, guys. It is important. The first question here is, why a Power BI developer need to know about this BI process, guys? The first question here is, why a Power BI developer need to know about this business intelligence process? So when a company will hire Power BI developer, I said that a company will hire Power BI developer to analyze their business data, guys. When a company will hire Power BI developers, when there is any company, when they want to analyze the business data, they will hire Power BI developer. Understand here carefully. When there is any company, when they want to analyze the business data, that company need to implement the BI process, guys. Any company who need to analyze their company's business data must and should they want to implement the business intelligence process, guys. They want to implement the business intelligence process. Simple. Any company who want to analyze the business data, they want to implement the business intelligence process. Yes. Tomorrow, I join for ABC company, guys, as a Power BI developer. Power BI developer, I join in the ABC company. When you join in the ABC company as a Power BI developer, you need to analyze that ABC company's business data. I said that to analyze the ABC company's business data, in that company, you need to implement the business intelligence process. Any company who is planning to analyze the business data, they want to implement the BA process. By implementing the BA process, they will analyze the business data, guys. Yes. Tomorrow, even Power BI developer also, tomorrow, even Power BI developer also want to implement the BA process. When you want to implement the BA process, you need to know what the BA process contains. You need to know what the BA process contains. First, we'll try to understand what the business intelligence process contains. I'll open one architecture slide here to understand what a BA process will contains. I open one slide here. You can see what a BA process will contains here. BA process will contains all this, guys. BA process is starting at OLTP systems. This complete process, software people they given as business intelligence process. Business intelligence process will start in OLTP systems. It will ends with clients. So in between OLTPs and clients, you have ETL process. We have OLAP databases. We'll create reports and visuals. We'll share them with the clients. All this process together, IT people given the name called business intelligence process. Tomorrow, when you join in one company as a Power BI developer, when you want to analyze the business data of that company, you need to implement this BI process, guys. Let's understand first what a BA process contains. And then once we understand what a BA process contains, then we will explain how to implement that BA process with Power BI software we'll discuss, guys. Fine. So in the BA process, first thing we'll start with OLTPs, guys. First we'll try to understand OLTPs and what are the different steps we have in the BA process we'll understand slowly. First, let's start with OLTPs, guys. OLTPs. First, I'll explain about OLTP. In the BA process, first we are seeing OLTPs. What is OLTPs? I'll explain first. So in the software field, everything will have same name, guys. Here, every one of us have some name. My name is Sunil, and you people have some names. Why your parents kept a name for you? Why our parents kept a name for me? So why our parents kept a name for me is for identity purpose. Identity purpose, guys. Yes, for identity purpose, they'll give a name for us. So in the same way, in the software field also, everything will have some name. Look at this. So in the software field, the place where companies stores business data we call as OLTP systems, guys. OLTP systems. Simple. So if a company is storing the business data in SQL Server, people will call SQL Server as OLTP, guys. If a company is storing the business data in Oracle database we call it as OLTP. What we call it as OLTP? The place where companies store the business data, we call it as what? OLTP. OLTP systems or OLTP databases. It is just a name. How my name is Sunil. So OLTP is also a name, guys. The companies where they store business data. Another name for business data is transactional data. Transactional data. The place where companies store business data or transactional data, we call as OLTP systems, guys. OLTP systems. The place where companies store business data or transactional data. Let's take an example. If a company is storing the business data in SQL Server is OLTP. So what is the full form for OLTP? Is online transactional processing. It is just a name. Don't bother much about this OLTP. It's just one name. A company might store their data in one OLTP system or multiple OLTP systems also, guys. Understand? Some companies will store their business data in one OLTP system itself. So let's say there is a retail business. ABC company is there, it is doing retail business. All the business data sometimes it will store in only SQL server. That means only one OLTP system. Sometimes some part of business data will be stored in one OLTP system. Some other part of business data will be stored in another OLTP system also. That means a company might store the data either in one OLTP system or multiple OLTP systems, guys. OLTPs is the place where companies will store the business data. OLTPs are the place where companies will store the business data. Tomorrow, when you join in the company as a Power BI developer, company will provide the OLTP system to you and they will ask you to generate some reports and visuals, guys. On that OLTP systems, they will ask us to generate some reports and visuals. Understand carefully here. Tomorrow, when you join in one company as a Power BI developer, so company will provide one OLTP systems to you and they will ask you to generate some reports and visuals there. Yes. So, so I said that whenever a company need to analyze the business data, we need to generate some reports and visuals. We clearly write here, by creating some reports and visuals, companies will analyze the business data. Generally, companies will store the business data in the OLTP systems, and how they will analyze the data is by creating some reports and visuals. But it is never recommended to create reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems, guys. It is never recommended to create the reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems. Yes, important point, make a note. So it is never recommended to create reports on OLTP databases. It is never recommended to create reports or visuals directly on OLTP systems, guys. Directly on OLTP databases. OLTP systems or OLTP databases. Then what? So tomorrow when you join in the company as a Power BI developer, company will provide the OLTP systems to you. And they will ask us to generate some reports and visuals to analyze their business data. We are telling that it is never recommended to generate reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems. Why? We'll discuss. So then what we need to do? So as it is not recommended to create the reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems, we are not supposed to create reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems. First, we need to create a separate database called OLAP database, guys. In the business intelligence process, first thing we need to do is we need to create a separate database called OLAP database. OLAP database. And we need to move the data from OLTP database to OLAP database. Then on OLAP database, we need to create the reports and visuals. Simple, guys. So how we will move the data? OLAP is again one database, guys. OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing, which stores the data that is required for analysis purpose, guys. Analysis purpose. Here, OLTPs will store complete business data. OLAP databases will store only the data that is required for analysis purpose. You will understand what is that. Now we need to move the data from OLTPs to OLAP database, guys. To move the data from OLTP database to OLAP, to move data from OLTP to OLAP, we need Etl Softwares, guys. We need Etl Softwares. Understand here how we will move the data from OLTP database to, as when client provided the OLTPs, when they ask you to generate the reports, you are telling that it is not recommended. For that purpose, in the BI process, we need to create a OLAP database. Now you need to move the data from OLTP database to OLAP database. For that, we need Etl Softwares, guys. Using the Etl Softwares, we'll move the data. Etl stands for Extract, Transform, Load. Extract, Transform, Load. Using Etl Softwares, we need to move the data to the OLAP. Once you move the data to the OLAP, now whatever the data that is required for analysis purpose, it will be there in the OLAP. Now you need to So, and again in the OLAP also data will be in the form of tables only, guys. Even in the OLAP database, data will be in the form of tables. If the clients want to understand this tables data, we need to present this data either in the structured format or graphical format, guys. On top of OLAP, next step we need to do is we need to create reports or visuals. Create reports or visuals. And finally, once we create the reports and visuals, here I created some reports and visuals on OLAP. Once we create the reports and visuals, finally we need to share them with the clients, guys. Finally, we need to share them with the clients. We need to share reports and visuals with the clients, guys. Reports are visuals with clients. Tomorrow, when you join in the company as a Power BI developer, also you will do all the things, guys. Just careful observe here. These are the multiple steps which will be there in the BI process, business intelligence process, guys. So clients will just provide OLTP systems and they will ask us to generate some reports and visuals, guys. As OLTP system, I will discuss why OLTP systems are not recommended. As OLTP systems are not recommended, we will create a separate databases called OLAP databases. And first we will move the data from OLTP database to OLAP databases. Once you move the data to the OLAP databases, on the OLAP databases, we will create reports and visuals. And finally, that reports and visuals we will share with the clients. These are the multiple steps involved in any BA process. Here, one by one, we'll understand, guys. First, I'll explain why OLTP systems are not recommended for reporting, why we need to create a separate database called OLAP database here. So there are two types of databases. To explain that, it will take more than 1 hour of time, guys. I'll explain at a high level now. There are two types of databases. One is OLTP database, second one is OLAP database, guys. There are two types of database in the market. One is OLTP databases and second one is OLAP databases. I said that OLTP database are not recommended for reporting. OLAP database are recommended for reporting. What is the reason? You will understand in a more detailed way in the coming classes. For now, just understand at a high level. OLTP databases will design using entity relationship modeling. And in OLTP databases, we will try to store normalized data, guys. Normalized data. So what is normalized data? You will understand in the coming classes. For now, keep in mind in OLTP database, we will store what type of data? Normalized data. What is normalized data? Why we need to store normalized data? You'll understand in the coming classes. In order to store normalized data, data will be stored in many tables. Each box is one table here. Whenever we need to store normalized data in a database, we need to store the data in the many tables. Generally in the OLTP databases, data will be stored in the many number of tables, guys. Here, understand carefully, in the OLTP databases, data will be stored in the many number of tables. Data will be stored in the many number of tables. So why it will be stored in many number of tables, I'll discuss in the coming classes. So when the data is stored in the many number of tables, when I try to create a report on, when I try to create in OLTP database, I'm telling that data will be stored in many tables. When I try to create a report on many tables, when I share that report with my client, when my client open this report, it will try to take the data from many tables. It will try to join the data in the runtime and it will try to show the data in the report case. To take the data from many tables, to join the data in the runtime, to show the data in the reports, it will take time. So let's say it will take 3 minutes of time also. So every time when client open the report, he need to wait for 3 minutes of time to see the data in the report. Why? Because it need to take the data from many tables and it need to show the data. Performance is less, guys. The main problem with the OLTP database is performance is less. I'll discuss more about it. That is the reason we'll create a separate database called OLAP database. OLAP database will design using dimensional modeling. In OLAP database, we will store denormalized data. In OLTP databases, normalized data. In OLAP databases, denormalized. What is denormalized? In order to store denormalized data, we need less tables. We'll store the data in the less tables. How we'll store the data in the less tables? And in OLAP databases, I'm telling that we'll store the data, denormalized data, and data will be stored in the less number of tables. When you generate a report on less number of tables, when you share the report with the client, this time client can see the data in 10 seconds or 20 seconds of time. 10 to 20 seconds of time, you can see the data. Previously, it takes around 3 minutes of time. Now it is just 10 to 20 seconds of time, guys. Like this, when you generate the reports on OLAP databases, the performance will be good. So understand carefully here. Generally in OLTP databases, we'll have normalized data. In order to store normalized data, data will be stored in many number of tables. So, but when you generate the reports on many number of tables, performance issues will be there. When you generate the reports on many tables directly, when you share them with the clients, performance issues will be there. That is the reason we'll generate a separate database called OLAP database. So with ETL tools, you'll bring many tables. You'll convert the many tables to less number of tables, and you will store the data in the less number of tables into the OLAP case. How this many tables data will be converted to the less number of tables is with the help of ETL tools. So, and that less tables will create the reports and visuals. When you create the reports on less number of tables, it will give the better performance here. Look at this here. When you create a report on OLAP database, it will give the better performance. You will understand more about it. For now, just believe me, OLTP database are not recommended for reporting. We need to create a separate database called OLAP. And what data you need to move from OLTP to OLAP? Generally, OLTP databases will contain complete business data. Let's say in my OLTP database, I have customers data, I have products data, and I have sales data. Sales data. So I have customers data, products data, and sales data. Let's say my client is asking to create only reports on sales data. So my client is asking to create reports only on sales data. Now from OLTP to OLAP, what data you need to move is you need to move only sales data, guys. You need to move what data? Only sales data. Keep in mind, into the OLAP, we need to move only the data that is required for analysis, guys. OLTP databases will contain complete business data, but into the OLAP, we need to move only the data that is required for analysis purpose, guys. Analysis purpose. So how we will move the data is with the help of ETL tools. We can move the data. So there are ETL tools in the market. Extract, transform, load. We will move the data. ETL stands for extracting the data, transforming the data, and loading the data. So in ETL tools, the major one is extracting the data is matter of 2 minutes. Loading the data is matter of 2 minutes. Transform is the major work case. Transform, converting the data from one format to another format, we call as a transform, guys. We'll discuss more about this ETL part in the coming classes. Understand here, to move the data from OLTP database to OLAP, we'll use ETL tools, guys. With the help of ETL tools, you will extract the data from OLTP databases, you will transform the data, and you will load the data into OLAP databases. Once you load the data into the OLAP databases, and I said that even OLAP database also contains the data in the form of tables, but here you will have more number of tables. Here you will have more number of tables. Here you will have less number of tables. So now, if the clients want to understand this tables data, you need to present either in the structured format or graphical format. So on top of OLAP database, you will create reports and visuals. Whatever the information we shown in the reports and visuals, we call it as actionable information, guys. Understand carefully here. Generally, whatever the information we shown in the reports and visuals, companies will call that as actionable information. Why? Look at this. Whatever the information you shown here, we call it as actionable information. Why we call it as actionable information is, so I created one visual. I shared this visual with my client, guys. When my client see a bigger number here, that means a lot of profits are there in hand. So when my client see a bigger number here, my client will go and expand the business case. My client will go and expand the business. So expanding the business is an action my client is taking by looking at the data here. The same way I share this visual with my client. When I share this visual with my client, by looking at this visual, my client understand phones is giving more revenue and chairs is giving more revenue. My client take a business decision to concentrate more on phones business, more on chairs business, guys. By looking at this visual, my client is planning to concentrate more on chairs and phones business. So why we are calling it as actionable information is, when you develop some visuals, when you share that visuals with the clients, clients will look at the information there and they will take some business decisions, actions. That is the reason we call it as actionable information. Finally, that visuals will be shared with our clients, guys. Look at this. This complete process, we call it as BA process. Business intelligence is one process. In that process, we'll convert company's business data into actionable information. Where do you have company's business data? In OLTP databases. Where do you have actionable information? In reports and visuals. To convert the business data into actionable information, what are the works we'll do? We'll do ETL work, we'll extract, transform, and load, and we'll create a OLAP database, and then we'll create reports and visuals. Finally, we'll share them with the clients, guys. I'll complete the class in few minutes, guys. Now, we understand what is business intelligence process at a high level. We'll talk more about this in the coming classes, guys. In a detailed way, we'll talk about all this BA process. For now, understand at a high level. Now, so I'll explain about Power BI now. So to implement this BA process, I joined in one company as a Power BI developer to analyze that company's business data, guys. To analyze that company's business data. We are telling that to analyze the business data, we need to implement the BA process. To implement the BA process, we need one software, guys. Understand, to implement the BA process, we need some software. That software is Power BI, guys. Power BI. Understand, when any company need to analyze the business data, we need to implement the BA process. To implement the BA process, we need some software. That software is Power BI, guys. Power BI here. Now I'll tell you how to implement the BA process with Power BI. So whose product is Power BI? Power BI is Microsoft product. Microsoft Power BI, guys. Tell me why Microsoft developed Power BI. Okay, it's a Microsoft product. It is correct. Why Microsoft developed the Power BI is, there is no doubt, Microsoft developed Power BI to analyze the business data. So, and I said that to analyze the business data, what companies need to implement? To analyze the business data, companies need to implement the business intelligence process, guys. So, to analyze the business data, companies need to implement the BA process. Right. Now, what a BA process contains? BA process contains below steps, guys. These are the multiple steps we have in the BA process. Even using Power BI also, you need to implement all these steps, guys. I'll show you how to implement it. First point I'll write here is, Power BI is not the name of single software. Power BI is not the name of single software. Power BI is the name for collection of softwares, is the name for collection of softwares, guys. Understand here, we have MS Office software. MS Office is not the name of single software. In MS Office, you have multiple softwares: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access. All these softwares together, we call it as MS Office, guys. Yes, in the same way, Power BI is also not the name of single software. Power BI is also name for collection of softwares. What are the different softwares you have in Power BI is? First software we have in Power BI is Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop. Second software we have in Power BI is Power BI Service. Important, concentrate here. And third software we have is Power BI Report Server. Power BI Report Server. And the fourth software we have is Power BI Mobile. Power BI Mobile. All the four softwares together, we call it as a Power BI, guys. I said that Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. For all the softwares together, we call the name as Power BI. Out of all these four softwares, the most important software is Power BI Desktop, guys. Power BI Desktop is a development software in Power BI. Development software in Power BI. When you join in the company as a Power BI developer, 80 to 90% of time, Power BI developer will work in Power BI Desktop software, guys. Out of these four softwares, understand carefully. Out of these four softwares, where the Power BI developer will work majority of time is Power BI Desktop, guys. 80 to 90% of time, Power BI developer will work in Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is the place where we will do development activities. It's a development software. And again, this is complete Power BI Desktop software, guys. Again, in the Power BI Desktop software, internally in Power BI Desktop software, internally we have three more softwares. One is Power Query, second one is Power Pivot, third one is Power View, guys. Internally in Power BI Desktop, we have three more softwares. One is Power Query, second one is Power Pivot, third one is Power View. Let me write here. Internally in Power BI Desktop, we have three more softwares. One is Power Query. Second one is Power Pivot, and third one is Power View, guys. Power View. So with the help of understand in Power BI Desktop, there are three important softwares: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. With the help of all these softwares together, we need to implement this BA process, guys. Tomorrow, when you join in the company, who will provide the OLTP systems is clients. Understand carefully. So this OLTP systems, you don't need to bother. Who will provide this OLTP systems is clients. Who will provide the business data to you is clients. So once they provide the OLTP systems, they will ask you to analyze the data by creating some reports and visuals. As I said that it is not recommended to create the reports and visuals directly on OLTP systems. Yes. Then what we need to do? We need to create a separate database called OLAP database. On OLAP database, we need to create reports and visuals. Understand carefully here. When clients provided the OLTP database, you are not supposed to create reports and visuals. You need to create a OLAP database first. In Power BI also, first we need to create a, when client provided the OLTP database to you, you are not supposed to create reports and visuals directly on OLTP. First, we need to create a OLAP database. Where we will create a OLAP database is in Power Pivot case. Understand here, Power Pivot is the place where we'll create an OLAP database. Power Pivot is a database where we will create an OLAP model. Create an OLAP model, guys. OLAP model. So look at this here. When client provided the OLTP databases, first we need to create a OLAP database. Where we will create the OLAP database in Power BI is Power Pivot. Now, how Oracle is one database, how SQL Server is one database. Here Power Pivot is also a database. And in that Power Pivot, you will create an OLAP database, OLAP model, guys, OLAP model. Now, we need to move the data from OLTP databases to OLAP database. To move the data from OLTP database to OLAP database, we need ETL softwares, guys. Here the ETL softwares are Power Query. In Power BI, the ETL software is Power Query, guys. Power Query is an ETL software in Power BI. ETL software in Power BI, guys. If you look at the architecture slide, a Power Query is an ETL software which you will connect to the data sources, which will extract the data, and then in Power Query it will transform the data. What is transform? You will understand in the coming class, next class. And it will load the transformed data into Power Pivot, and in the Power Pivot you'll create an OLAP model. Now even in the Power Pivot, data will be in the form of tables. In SQL Server or OLTP's, data will be in the more number of tables, but in the OLAP model you will have in the less number of tables. Now, so if client want to understand the tables data, I need to present that in the graphical format. Which software will help us is Power View. Power View is used to create reports and visuals, guys. The next step, once you create a OLAP database, next step is creating reports and visuals. Power View is used to create reports and visuals, guys. Power View is used to create reports or visuals. Is used to create reports or visuals, guys. So once our OLAP model is ready, using the OLAP model, Power View will create the reports and visuals, guys. The reports and visuals which we created contains actionable information. Actionable information. Now we understand OLTPs will be provided by the clients. ETL will be done in Power Query. OLAP model will be created in Power Pivot. Reports and visuals will be created in Power View. And last step is you need to share them with the clients, guys. Power BI Desktop cannot share that reports directly with the clients. Power BI Desktop can do only ETL activities. It can create OLAP model. It can create reports and visuals, but it cannot share that reports and visuals with the clients. To share that reports and visuals with the clients, we need to use other softwares like Power BI Service or Power BI Report Server. Understand here. To share the reports and visuals with the clients, we need to use Power BI Service or Power BI Report Server, guys. Let me write here. Power BI Service is used to share the reports and visuals with the clients. Power BI report server is also used to share the reports and visuals with the clients. Understand carefully here. When you generate some reports in the Power BI desktop, to share that reports with the clients, either you need to publish it to the Power BI service, or either you need to publish it to the Power BI report server. From there, we need to share with the clients. Power BI desktop cannot share it with clients directly. So here the question is, to do the ETL activities, only one software Power Query. To create an OLAP model, only one software Power Pivot. To create reports and visuals, only one software Power View. But to share the reports with the clients, why two softwares? Power BI Service, Power BI Report Server. Why not only one software? So no company will use both of them, guys. 98% of the companies, they will use Power BI service for sharing the reports. Only 2% of the companies, less than 2% of the companies, they will use Power BI report server to share the reports with the clients. What is the difference is, one is cloud, second one is on-premise, guys. Power BI service is a cloud-based server. Power BI report server is an on-premise server. So this is used by very less clients. Power BI service is used widely to share the reports and visuals with the client's case. Let me write here. Power BI service is a Azure cloud-based server. You'll understand all this. Cloud-based server, which is used for sharing the reports and visuals with the client. Power BI report server is an on-premise server, which is used for sharing the reports and visuals with the client case. Both will do the same work. If you see, this is also do the same work. Here also it will do the same work. One is a cloud, second one is a on-premise. What is cloud, what is on-premise? We don't have much time here. We'll discuss in the next classes. 98% of companies, they'll use Power BI service, guys. Only 2% of the companies, 2% of the companies, they'll use Power BI report server to share the reports with the clients, guys. Once you share the reports with the clients, they can see that reports in the mobile phones itself. Power BI mobile, it's a mobile application, it's a mobile app which is used for viewing reports or visuals in mobiles or tabs or iPads, wherever they want they can see it. We have mobile app for iOS, we have mobile app for Android, and we have mobile app for Windows, guys. All the OS. Understand, Power BI mobile, it's a mobile application which is used for viewing the reports and visuals in the mobile phones. If the client want to view the reports, whatever the reports we shared from Power BI service, whatever the reports we shared from Power BI service to the clients, clients can see them in laptops, clients can see them in desktops, even they can see them in their mobile phones itself using a Power BI mobile application, guys. So these are the different softwares you have in Power BI, guys. Now tell me, with the help of all these softwares, are we able to do this complete work? Means yes. Who will provide the OLTPs? Means clients will provide you. Where we will do ETL in Power BI means Power Query. Where we will create OLAP model means Power Pivot. Where we will create reports and visuals means Power View. Where we will share that reports and visuals with the client means Power BI service, case. With the help of any software, if you are able to do all this work, we call that software as business intelligence software, guys. We call that software as business intelligence software. Yes, Power BI is a business intelligence software where it can do all this work, guys. Right, this is all about Power BI. I clearly explain what are the different softwares we have in Power BI and what is this Power BI architecture, guys. Starting from OLTPs till clients, we seen it. So coming two more classes are free, guys. Practically, I'll discuss from here in the next class, guys. So I'll write here, understand carefully. So coming two more classes are free. Two more classes are free. So in the two more classes, I'll discuss practically all this: how to install Power BI desktop, how to do the ETL in the Power Query, how to create a OLAP database in the Power Pivot, how to create reports and visuals in the Power View, how to publish them to Power BI service, how to share them with the clients. In the two more classes, practical, I'll discuss you guys. So it will not cost you anything. Please join the two more classes and you can decide. So when we are going to start a new batch will start on Wednesday, guys, 26th of January 2022. 26th January 2022 new batch will start at 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The batch timing is 6 p.m. IST, guys. 6 p.m. IST to 7 p.m. IST. Daily 1 hour, guys. So the batch timings is this: 6 p.m. Indian Standard to 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So 26th January, 2 more classes you can attend free. Wednesday and Thursday you can attend the classes free, guys, and then you can decide. Fine. Now I will drop one mail once after this class, guys. Once after this class, I'll drop one mail. That mail will include 4 things. What are the 4 things that mail will include? Is first one is recorded session, guys. Recorded session. Second thing, I recorded this session, I'll share it, guys. Second one is this notepad. Whatever I written in the last 1 hour, I'll share this notepad, guys. I request please go through the notepad and read the points one more time. And third one is every class you'll get 10 pages Word document. Every class you will get 10 pages Word document which contains complete explanation about the class, guys. Today I have introduction to Power BI. All these are Power BI related materials only, guys. All these are Power BI related materials only. Today we have introduction to Power BI. In introduction, so whatever I discussed today, you might find in this document clearly. Please go through this document. So please go through this document and read the document. You will understand more about Power BI, guys. More about Power BI. Once after this, you'll get the course content. Fourth thing you'll get is course content. I'll give the time for the questions. I request please give me a few minutes of time. So last one you'll get is course content, guys. So the Power BI course will be discussed for 60 hours of time. In the 60 hours of time, what topics we are going to cover, you can find in this course content, guys. The course duration is 60 hours. I'll attach this course content in the mail. I request you guys, please go through the course content and see what topics we are going to cover as part of this training. So I will extensively discuss each and every topic with a real-time example, guys. Just not theoretically discussing the topic here. Every topic with some real-time examples we'll discuss in our training, guys. So go and look at the content. Every topic we will discuss more topics than what we mentioned in the course content. Right. So as part of 60 hours training, what topics we'll cover is complete Power BI concepts we'll cover, guys. Complete Power BI concepts will cover, like how to do the ETL in the Power Query will be covered. How to do the ETL activities in the Power Query will be covered. How to create a OLAP database in the Power Pivot will be covered. How to create the reports and visuals in Power BI will cover. How to publish them to Power BI service, how to share them with the clients will cover, guys. All the Power BI concepts will be covered. Along with the Power BI concepts, we will even cover data warehousing concepts. In this training, we will even cover data warehousing concepts, guys. So data warehousing concepts are mandatory for a Power BI developer. Look at this. All these are data warehousing concepts only. Look at this document. This OLTP database, OLAP database, OLAP database, and dimension tables, fact tables, types of schemas. All this comes under data warehousing concepts, guys. So we will discuss data warehousing concepts extensively in our training, guys. And so you might come across DAX, guys. DAX will come in Power Pivot. Power Pivot is the place where DAX will come. In Power Pivot, you have two parts. In Power Pivot module, we have two parts. One is data modeling. Second one is enhancing the data model with the help of DAX. DAX will be discussed for 12 hours of time from basics to advanced. DAX is important. Where the DAX will come is, DAX will come in Power Pivot software. So as part of this training, DAX will be covered for 12 hours of time from basics to advanced, guys. So along with all this, I'll cover all Power BI concepts, data warehousing concepts, DAX. DAX is inbuilt in Power BI, guys. In Power Pivot, DAX is inbuilt. So once with all this, along with all this, so you need SQL, guys, to get the job. See here, most of the Power BI jobs are for experienced people, guys. When there are 100 jobs on Power BI, 100 jobs on Power BI, 90 jobs are for experienced people. Only 10% of jobs are for freshers, guys. Freshers, very limited jobs will be there. 90% of the jobs we need to keep experience. We need to keep the experience minimum 3 to 5 years of experience, guys. 5 years of experience. To get the jobs on Power BI, minimum we need to keep 3 to 5 years of experience. Minimum 3 years to 5 years. So when you want to keep 3 to 5 years of experience, only learning this will not help you, guys. In our training, we'll discuss real-time projects, how we will execute the projects. We'll discuss. Additionally, in the training, what you will get is add-ons, real-time project explanation. So tomorrow when you go and join in the company, where we will start the project, how we will execute the project, how we will complete the project in a detailed way, I'll discuss in my classes, guys. However, I'll discuss in the classes. Even tomorrow when you go and join in the company, you will execute the project in the same way. And we will discuss Power BI developer roles and responsibilities. And we will help you in preparing your resumes. So I said that we need to keep 3 to 5 years of experience to get a lot of jobs. To keep 3 to 5 years of experience, how many projects you need to keep, how to prepare the resumes, we will provide you. We will provide a lot of interview questions to you, and we will conduct mock interviews before we go with the actual interviews, guys. Yes, fine. You learn thoroughly all this. Along with all this, you even need to have SQL, guys. SQL. We need to learn SQL, guys. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Structured Query Language. So to get the job on Power BI, see, when you go for a Power BI interview, to get the job on Power BI, you need Power BI knowledge plus data warehousing knowledge. So along with the Power BI knowledge, we need to have data warehousing knowledge, guys. Data warehousing knowledge. Along with the data warehousing knowledge, you need to have SQL knowledge also. So people will ask generally one question, guys. To learn Power BI, do we need to have any prior IT knowledge? One point, understand carefully the question. So to learn Power BI, do we need to have any prior IT knowledge is the question here. I can strictly say that to learn Power BI, you no need to have any prior IT knowledge, guys. I'm from non-IT background. Non-IT background. I don't have any computer knowledge. Yes, you are good to learn Power BI. 100% you are good to learn, guys. I don't know SQL knowledge. I don't know Excel knowledge. I don't know C language knowledge. I don't know any computer knowledge. Still, you are good to learn Power BI. To learn Power BI, there is no prerequisite. There is no prerequisite, guys. Believe me. So without any knowledge also, you can start learning Power BI. It's my responsibility to make you understand 100% what I am delivering here about Power BI. But so to learn Power BI, there is no prerequisites. I'll write one point here. To learn Power BI, no prerequisites. But to get the job on Power BI, must and should you need to know SQL language, guys. SQL knowledge. To learn Power BI, I'm telling that no prerequisites. But to get the job on Power BI, to get job on Power BI, along with Power BI, to get the job on Power BI, we need SQL knowledge, guys. We need SQL knowledge. So here the question is, throughout the Power BI development, nowhere we will use SQL, guys. To do the ETL, I don't use SQL. To create a OLAP model, I don't use SQL. To create the reports and visuals, I don't use SQL. To share the reports and visuals with the clients, I don't use SQL. Throughout the Power BI development, nowhere we will use SQL. In the same way, to learn Power BI, you don't need SQL. But why companies are asking SQL? Why companies are asking SQL for the Power BI developers? Tomorrow, when you go as a Power BI developer, I went for Power BI developer interview, guys. 70% of questions they will ask from Power BI. 10% of questions they will ask from data warehousing concepts. 20% of questions they'll ask from SQL. So here you might get a question, guys. I'm telling that to learn Power BI, nowhere we will use SQL. Then why in the Power BI interview they'll ask the 20% of questions from SQL? Is why they will ask you is, so 99%, greater than 90% of the time, Client will provide the data in the databases case. Client will provide the business data either in the SQL Server, either in the Oracle, either in the DB2, either in some other database case. So before we generate the reports, first we need to understand the source data case. First part, first work we are going to do in the companies is we need to understand the source data. We need to understand the source data. Understand carefully here. So Power BI developer first work is he need to understand the source data. He need to understand the source data. Why we need SQL is mostly clients will provide the data in databases case. Clients will provide the business data in the databases. You need to understand what data is there in the databases case. So now when the data is there in the database, to understand what tables are there, in the tables to understand what data is there, to understand what tables are there, to understand what data is there in the tables, we need to write the queries, guys. We need to write the queries. We need to write some basic queries. To write the queries, database can understand only one language, SQL language, guys. SQL language. You need to write the queries in SQL. So to understand the source data on the databases, we need to write the queries. We need to write that queries using which language? SQL language. When you want to write the queries in a database can understand only one language, that is structured query language. If you want to write the queries on SQL language, you need to know SQL language, guys. You need to know SQL language. One purpose is to understand the data, we need to write SQL queries. So that we need SQL language. Not only that, guys. You'll bring the data from databases into Power BI. You'll show that data in the reports. Before you share that reports with the clients, you need to test that data is correct or not. You are showing the profit is 10 million. You are not blindly conclude that 10 million is correct. Again, you need to write one SQL query here. That SQL query will give some output. This output and this output should be same. Then only you can tell that this data is correct, guys. I'll discuss all this. Second thing, we need it for data validation purpose, for data understanding purpose. And second one is data validation or testing, guys. So two purpose we need SQL language, guys. For data profiling, or data understanding purpose. One purpose is for data profiling or data understanding purpose, we need to write SQL queries and we need to understand the data. And second purpose is for data validation or testing purpose, we need to write the queries in SQL language, guys. Nowhere in Power BI development we'll use SQL, but for understanding the source data, for testing the data, we need SQL, guys. For testing the data, we need SQL. So SQL is mandatory. So what we will do is we will share 40 hours of SQL Server videos free. 40 hours of SQL Server videos free. That as 40 hours of SQL Server videos will help you to explain all about Power BI, all about SQL, guys. Whatever SQL. See, the queries are same for any database case. SQL is common for all the databases. When you write a query on SQL Server, the same query will work on Oracle database also. Let's say your company give the data in any database. The way we will write SQL query is 99% same. So if you can learn SQL in SQL Server, then you can write the same queries on other databases also. Right? This is all about Power BI, guys. Only one thing you need to learn to get the job on Power BI is, along with Power BI, we need data warehousing concepts and SQL. This Power BI and data warehousing concepts will be covered in our live classes. This SQL, I'll share 40 hours of pre-recorded videos. You can go and understand SQL from that 40 hours pre-recorded videos, guys. This is all about Power BI. I'm done with the demo. I'll go with the questions now.